What is the crack? 1 second. Oh, yes. I'm alive. So I want to chat to you a little bit about what happens next. So we've seen the collapse of the world's second largest Ponzi scheme, crypto exchange, and subsequent contagion is now starting to happen because we've seen BlockFi file for bankruptcy and pause withdrawals, and someone else has paused withdrawals. I can't remember who it is now. So this is what's called the contagion, and this is what we warned you about last week. So we're going to chat a little bit about what comes next in the market and how I see things unfolding. I'll use a little bit of my experience to hopefully guide you and give you some tips so that you can protect yourself and not get wrecked, or not get more wrecked as a lot of people have. So I suppose let's focus on the positives. Okay, the positives are that FTX was a massive Ponzi scheme. It was really close to fraud. Perhaps it was fraud. We'll let the lawmakers decide that when it goes through that process. But it's now gone. Okay, and the bigger that got, and when it did eventually collapse, because obviously it was going to collapse, the bigger it got to get, if you can follow me, the bigger it got to get, the more harm it would have caused our industry. And at the moment, it's going to cause our industry a lot, and it's going to set back. Bitcoin adoption probably a year. Now, it's not going to set Bitcoin adoption back in terms of institutional adoption. It's given the institutions a chance now to catch up, while the regular Joe Soaps are fooled into thinking Bitcoin's dead, it's somehow connected to Bitcoin, and they just get fooled into not understanding the actual protocol and realizing that it was a bad actor that caused this crash, and it was nothing to do with Bitcoin, the decentralized protocol. Imagine if you buy drugs with US dollars. It's not the dollar's fault. The dollar is just the vehicle. But anyway, most people haven't done the work and they don't understand what Bitcoin is, and unfortunately they're going to be left behind in the biggest transfer of wealth. And just on a little side note, let's give you a little bit of a little positive spin on this. What Bitcoin does is, when you understand Bitcoin, and do me a favor, if you're watching this there now, and you're not mouth breathing, because you're going to put some time into educating yourself, so you're watching some good content, okay, from some lad who's retired early and sitting in a camper van and living here surfing for the last month. Mad Egypt you're watching, okay? But stretch out your index finger and approach the little love heart or the like button and hit the like. Ricky, what's the crack? Good to have you on, man. That helps the algorithm, it helps the channel. That's all I ask from you, and it's awesome if you do that. And obviously, if you find the content good and you think others would value it, share it with your buddies. A lot of people could do with learning some of this stuff. So the positive spin is, and this is just a sidetrack before I talk to you about what happens next. El Salvador adopted Bitcoin in late 2020, early 21. Okay, El Salvador was a country that was rife with gangs, and it was a place that you did not go on holidays. All right. Now, in 2023, just released by I can't remember, I shared it in my thing, the fucking world travel thing, whatever it's called, but El Salvador is now the destination to go to in the world in 2023. This is how Bitcoin improves your life. So for me, Bitcoin improved my life. Okay, helped me to retire early and not have to worry about money and all this stuff, and it'll do the same for anyone who does the work on it. Not crypto. Crypto is really different. Crypto will make you poor. Okay, just like Sam Bankman-Fried, he tried to trade crypto and he became a billionaire in 3 years, and now he's broke and likely going to jail for a long time. Okay, so separate Bitcoin and crypto, and this is one of the problems, is people jumble them up together and they don't do their proper work that Bitcoin requires because they just want to get rich quick. And the fast, easy way, the lesson I've learned all my life is that the fast, easy way, lonely Hannah, thanks Kieran, it's good to have some of you guys having my back, but the fast, easy way will always punish you. Okay, this is how the world works. It's called proof of work. Anything that's meaningful or that you can hold on to takes work to achieve it, and anything that comes easy, it's called easy come. You know, all these timeless sayings, they're sort of timeless sayings for a reason. Easy come, easy go. But Bitcoin has definitely improved El Salvador. Okay, it's improved their GDP, their crime is down, their gangs are down, their employment is up. Like, just all the metrics are improving in that country, and people are going, oh, but the price of Bitcoin crashed, so the country is after losing loads of money. And as the president himself said, he's like, we lost whatever, I'll make up the numbers, okay, we lost 10 million on Bitcoin, but we're after gaining 1 billion in tourism and in all this other stuff. It's like, you know, it's how an investor plays. So I'll invest 1 million to make 1 billion. No problem. I will lose that 1 million to get 1 billion back. Okay? So don't be fooled by smoke and mirrors and by mainstream trying to FUD you out of Bitcoin. So what happens next? Okay, our industry is wrecked, and the price of all the assets is in the gutter. Now, for me as an investor, and this not being my first bear market, and I know this one has been ruthless, and it's beautiful, because a lot of people think it's easy, and people who, have done well in these markets just got lucky, and now a lot of people are learning. They're getting the shit kicked out of them in this market, and those that survive, okay, when we get our next bull cycle, because all markets go up and down, so when we get our next bull market, all these people who have took the hiding, took the battering, their friends will be saying they got lucky, and they will know, as I know, as a lot of you just go, he got lucky, the tourists that don't do the work. No one gets lucky here, okay? It takes a lot of work to survive these markets. So hopefully you are surviving them, and I'm going to explain to you how things go. So basically FTX now is in bankruptcy, along with Celsius, along with BlockFi, and along with numerous other companies. Okay, now the problem for this is we've twofold problem. We've market contagion, in that FTX, if you look at the ties they had, pretty much a lot of crypto was tied into FTX. That's why it's very good to be understand the difference between operating with Bitcoin only companies, and that the risk is so, you detach yourself from a lot of the crypto risk. Okay, but that aside, so we have contagion risk because they're linked to so much other companies, and other companies loan to them, and that's now worth zero. Those loans are gone. So it's, can these other companies survive? Okay, but the bigger risk that most people won't be aware of is that these companies who are all in bankruptcy, they hold assets. Okay, so even though if they're in bankruptcy, it doesn't mean they don't have any assets. It just means that their liabilities are above their assets. Okay, that they can't fulfill their debt obligations or their withdrawal obligations. It doesn't mean they have no assets. Okay, they could be holding on to thousands and thousands of Bitcoin and thousands of Ethereum and all these other assets. So they have collateral. The problem is when they go into bankruptcy, and hit the like if you're learning, when they go into bankruptcy, okay, the courts may force them to sell those assets, okay, to sort of wrap the company up and try and pay back creditors. Creditors are anyone who had money on the platform and now can't withdraw, so they become a creditor. So what that does is, we're already in a bear market. It's not a good time to sell Bitcoin. Anyone who understands the assets knows that you don't like buy high and sell low, although this is what retail people do without any investment into education. Shameless plug, invest into education, you'll make more money and you won't have to lose all your money to learn. Join Retire Early Club. But the courts will force a lot of these companies to sell their Bitcoin at the wrong time, at the very bottom of the market, which is a really silly thing to do. Now what that will cause is, it's going to bring a supply shock into the market and drag prices down even further, potentially. So this is going to wash out over the next year. And it's got the potential to really drag the market down even more. So all you altcoiners, just be aware, you might be down 90%, you might be down back in 95%, but you can still go down another 90% from there, unfortunately. And this is sort of part of the learning, and I shouldn't laugh because I've made those silly investments myself. And we live and we learn. But this forcing of courts for these companies to sell their assets and liquidate their Bitcoin, or sell their Bitcoin or their Ethereum or whatever, could see market come down even more. Plus we have the raising of interest rates continuing with the Fed, and so it's basically setting itself up for, it's a lot of pain, okay? But I don't see pain. All I see is opportunity, because the more painful markets get, the more money I get to make. As an investor who understands how to buy low and rebalance your portfolio, and not buy high, sell low. Someone in Madrid is ringing me. Who do I know in Madrid, lads? Don't know. So I see huge opportunity over the next 12 months. For hodlers, for people who only came into the space in the last year, it's possibly going to be a difficult time for you. You should focus on your education and learning and understanding, because the market's really going to screw at you. It's going to try and squeeze you out of your positions. It's going to try and get you to question what you've done. All your friends are going to be saying, I told you, crypto, blah, 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 blah. But what I would say to you is, use this time to build your education. Okay, there's a reason why I've been able to go through these markets before and see my portfolio, get obliterated in the past. But like, those obliterations in the past are, in today's terms, it doesn't matter anymore. Just like the obliterations that people suffer today, in whatever amount of time in the future when we hit our next bull cycle, they'll be wiped out and they'll be immaterial to those people. Okay, because if you bought a Bitcoin at 60 grand, you still own a Bitcoin. Okay, the market's just pricing it at 16 grand today. But like the true value of a Bitcoin is $1 million or 2 million or 10 million or 100 million. Just depends on how long you want to live or how many generations you're going to pass the Bitcoin on. It's the hardest form of money on the planet. It's the scarcest thing on the planet. Do a little bit of digging into money and how money works and the theory of money, and you'll figure out what most of the world. This is the beauty of it. Most of the world hasn't figured this out yet. This is why there's huge opportunity. And as the market crashes more, I'm just like, what a gift! Like, why does this market being so generous to me? And all I want to do is try and educate more people so they can take advantage of the situation and get out of the machine of normal life, which is work till you die or work till you're nearly dead and then have a few frail years. You know, where you're not at your peak, so you can't enjoy all the experiences that life has to offer when you're in your elder years. And that's just part of life. So my goal is to help people do what I did and figure this out, learn how to become an investor, and then make a lot of money. So then you can choose if you want to stay in the rat race and make more money, do that. But you have the choice whether you want to exit and just live on your own time, which I think is you know, if you allow people to experience both, they'll never go back to the rat race, because having your own time is beautiful to do it with your whatever you want with your family and friends. Whatever you want, whenever you want, and you can still work, because I enjoy doing a bit of work. And I suppose I'll give a little tangent here. My consulting, which was closed for bookings, is open now. I'll be back in Ireland in December, and I will book up before I'm home. So if you were thinking they need to build me a plan to retire early, I'm going to book in for a consultation with them. Book it now, and the guys will get you scheduled in for December, because it'll be you know, there's only a limited amount of spaces for December, so book yourself in the consultation. And what we done with the Retire Early Club, I normally capped that at 100, but it was just devastation. People were getting wrecked, losing access to their crypto, not knowing what the hell to do. So we actually opened it up so anyone can join Retire Early Club now. The registrations will close, but get in while you can if you are thinking about it. Both of which come with money back guarantees. So if you're not sure, just like buy it, check it out, and if you're making too much money, you're figuring stuff out too well, everyone's too happy, friendly and helpful, we'll leave and go back to your free education that gets people nowhere. It didn't get me anywhere. Anyway, when I started investing into education, you know, that was ultimately how I retired early. It was the education, not the assets. So use this time to educate yourself. Understand that there are likely going to be assets sold over the next year. It's going to be a huge opportunity for those who understand what they're doing. The next thing is understand about self-custody. Understand about a wallet. Okay, now there's two ways you can learn about a wallet. One is the hard way. You keep your Bitcoin on an exchange or with a custodian, and they go bust and you lose everything. Okay? With using a wallet though, you have zero counterparty risk. So I'm just going to explain counterparty risks here. Alright? You hold your Bitcoin on Coinbase, Crypto.com, any company, it doesn't matter who they are, you've got counterparty risk. If they go bust, you lose your money. Okay? BlockFire now, pause and withdrawals, so now it's a problem. People might get 50 cents on the dollar, which means if you had $1 there, you might get 50 cents back. Okay, they might only get 30 cents on the dollar. They might only get 10 cents on the dollar. Nobody knows yet, okay? But it's a nightmare. Okay, so if your withdrawals are paused, know that you haven't lost everything. You will get something back. Okay? However, you've counterparty risk. If you want no counterparty risk, you will set up what's called a wallet. You can set up a hot wallet, which would be an online wallet you can download and literally set up in 10 minutes. Or maybe 3 hours if you're new to it. But okay, or you can get a hardware wallet. A hardware wallet is the most secure place to custody your assets. However, but the risk is you. Okay, the risk is you guys, you Instagrammers, you Facebookers, you YouTubers. You're the risk when you're self-custodying it. Okay, because if you make a mistake, there's nowhere to go. You can't ring up Mr. Bitcoin. There is no Mr. Bitcoin. Obviously, you understand that. Okay, you can't ring up Ledger because they don't hold your private keys. That's the whole point of this thing. You've no counterparty risk. Okay, so you need to understand how to set up the wallet correctly, how to use, how to move the funds safely, how to back up the wallet. Like, what happens if you drop it? What happens if you spill your coffee on it? What happens if it falls down the toilet? What happens if a rat eats it when you have it in storage, or just nibbles it? or wheeze on it and it breaks, you need to take all this into consideration, because this is your retirement early plan. You can have your traditional pension and you can give all your money into that, and most people don't realize the scam that actually is. And then when you're old, you'll get a few quid out of it, but if you actually do the maths, you'd be like, where the hell is all my money? And your pension manager, you'll try and ring him up, but he'll have retired early. No, he probably won't. Even they don't get to retire early. They're so stuck in the system. Okay? But this is your early retirement plan. It's got the potential to retire early. It's got the potential to allow you to give up work if you get it right. And that's why it's worth, not watching Netflix and just working that bit harder. Putting in the work, really understand Bitcoin, understand the philosophy of it, understand the theory of money, understand our fiat money system, how it works. Where the hell? Oh, I was going to show you my book, but the phone is leaning on it. A good book is The Fiat Standard by Seyfedin Ammous. Teach all about how our current money system works. And once you understand that, it's like once you show people it, you don't have to do anything else. They go, holy God, this is a scam. No wonder I can't get ahead. No wonder it's so difficult. And even if you're wealthy and you make loads of money, imagine how wealthier you could be when you actually figure out the system. Wealth creation becomes a lot easier than when you don't understand the system. You just exchange your time for money, and the money goes down in value, and you exchange more time for that money, and it's this perpetual cycle that you can never get ahead in. And the taxes only increase, and the cost of living only increases, the cost of energy only increases, the cost of assets only increase, the cost of food only increases. Where do you see this going? It's not going to continue too long. Now, what we are doing is, here, I'll give you a bit of news, because some people have their head in the sand and they're not understanding where this goes. So how this goes now, the only way this current monetary system can continue is by taking it to digital money. Now, people will be fooled into thinking, all right, sure, this is the same as Bitcoin. I've got a digital euro. You couldn't be so wrong. The digital euro will be an abomination of money. Okay, it'll be worse than what you have right now. You think life is hard now, you just wait till you're on the digital euro, baby. In the States, okay, digital euro's in beta. They're testing it. It's just going to come out in fresh air, and you're going to get a wallet to download it. Out of nowhere. People aren't going to see it coming. Okay, because it's in beta. It's been worked on. European Central Bank are testing it already. In the States, they've released their digital dollar, and they're trialing it now. It's in public trials. So this is how quick this is coming. All that cash in under your mattress is going to be worthless. They'll literally put out a law, just like the punt. Remember the punt? Literally overnight, the punt became worth zero. It was like, bring in your punts, exchange them for euros. Okay, so this is why you have to learn how to protect yourself. Once you end up on that digital money, you might even have the privilege to be able to access Bitcoin, which allows you to buy what you want. It's all going to be pushed into carbon credits, okay? And the ESG narrative, right or wrong, I'm not here to argue that point, but the ESG narrative is going to really tighten what people can spend their money on. Okay, and everyone will have a carbon credit and energy rating, and your money simply won't work. If you want to buy a second steak a week and that's above your carbon credit, well, baby, you got to eat the soy burger. Enjoy getting fat. Enjoy boosting your estrogen. Okay, and it's just a silly example, but look at China. It's just, there's no way back once you go there. This is why Bitcoin is, without Bitcoin, and this is why I said Bitcoin gives people hope. Gives me hope. It's like, before Bitcoin, I was like, how the hell is the world going to move forward? You can't even exit. If you unless you want to build a farm and put a big fence around it and do everything yourself and be totally self-sufficient and sovereign, you can't survive in this world. But now with Bitcoin, it's like, what an amazing vehicle. Now, I'm going to give you one more little dinny bomb, okay? Hit the like if you like the bombs. Dinny bombs are just little knowledge bombs. People, right now, the media and the news, as I said to you, this price gift is an amazing gift for institutional, big money, banks. They're buying up Bitcoin while small people like you are afraid, who bought it at 60k and are now dumping it at 20k because you think it's going to go to 10, then you're going to buy it back in, and ultimately 90% of traders lose money, so there's a 90% chance you're going to get the trade wrong. But the banks are just buying it, okay? You shouldn't focus on the price of Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin is the least interesting thing to me. Okay, I focus on the fundamentals of Bitcoin. The fundamentals of Bitcoin are what will prevail. Okay, hash rate, the amount of people that are mining Bitcoin, the strength of the network. It's hitting all-time highs. Every month it's hitting all-time highs, like. So Bitcoin is certainly not dead. Okay, what about its adoption? Maybe let's have a little look at that. People owning 0.00001 Bitcoin. Wallets holding that, because you can see this on chain. all-time highs. It's hitting all-time highs literally every month. Okay, 0.01 Bitcoin, all-time highs wallet addresses. 0.1 Bitcoin, all-time highs. That's all the data I have. I'm not sure if 1 Bitcoin is at all-time high, but this thing has been adopted. It's been spread through the world, and people are just picking it up. You know, small people, little minnows like me, are just picking it up and picking it up. And every week, there's like 100 million Bitcoin wallet addresses opening up. And it's just astounding the rate that this thing's been adopted, and that's what you should focus on. Not the FUD, not the price. Do your due diligence and learn to understand the technology. And once you've understood that, then the price becomes irrelevant. Okay? So, what I'd say to you guys is, use this time, if you're wrecked in the bear market, rather than you've bought high, rather than selling low, because, you know, and I can't give you financial advice, nothing here is financial advice, but if it was me, I'd use the time to invest into my education. Invest your time into education, okay? And go Bitcoin only. Try and consume Bitcoin only content, and then come up with a thesis of why being Bitcoin only is a bad idea, okay? I'm not saying you don't have to have crypto element. I still have crypto investments, all right? But the vast majority of my portfolio and my dollar cost averaging is on accumulating Bitcoin, all right? And that's for very specific fundamental reasons, okay? And the other stuff is high risk, high return, speculative bets. But a lot of people just have high risk, high return speculative bets, and they've no secure strategy, and that's no use, okay? The rule of investing is to protect and grow capital. So that means protect first, meaning you don't lose your money. First rule of investing, don't lose money, and then grow it, okay? So therefore, if you build your portfolio around something that's super high risk, you're just going to lose your money. Don't do it, okay? If you want to learn how to do all this stuff right, join the Retire Early Club. We take it through baby steps. We've actually got a beginner's workshop this Saturday, so if you join now, you'll be in for that, and that takes you through the first 10 steps and right up to building your own cash flow statement. So you have a cash flow statement for your family. You understand how much you're spending on toothpaste every month, how much you spend on everything, and then you can base your investment portfolio over your disposable income, and you have a perfect picture of how your family's finances work, and you have a perfect roadmap of if you want to change it. So I say to people, Google Maps will take you anywhere in the world, but unless it knows where you are, it can't help you. Most people want to get rich, they want the fancy lifestyle, they want the freedom, but they don't know where they are. You know, I'm here, Dinny. Financially, they don't know their exact position, all right? And that's why it's so important to come back, spend the time, get the basics right. This is how you run a company, you know, and if you run your personal finances the exact same way, you're successful. So Retire Early Club, it's not just Bitcoin education, it's basic fundamentals of personal finance, investing, how to build a portfolio, and all the Bitcoin and crypto knowledge, and all the technical stuff as well. But it's everything you need, basically. It's called Retire Early Club because it's doing exactly what it says on the tin. Those who do the work, and it's just a systematic process. It's not luck. It's just, we've got Dinny's 4 golden rules. We abide by those 4 golden rules. You're going to retire early. It's pretty simple. So yeah, check that out. Survive. Market's going to get very volatile, I think. It's no problem for us who understand what we're doing in the Retire Early Club. We just sit back and let it all happen, because we self-custody our assets are backed up, we don't have counterparty risk, and we understand that all the money's made in the bear markets, okay? Bull markets make you some money, bear markets make you filthy rich. Understand that and get it into your head. Bull markets make you some money, bear markets make you filthy rich. That's a Dinny quote. Alright, that's enough bombs for today. Hit the like button if you like it. Instagrammers can throw a comment in if you enjoy the stream. Normally I don't go live on Instagram, but if you throw a few comments in, maybe I'll be more likely to do a few lives in the future. Guys, let me know how you're doing, and if you're struggling, and if you're you know, anxious, worried, stressed over it. I've been poorer than you've ever been, okay? And my last little Dinny bomb is, I had a broken back, I lived in a caravan, and I had no money in my bank account, and there was no out from there. And within a decade, I had the option of retirement, and I had enough cash flow to never need to work again. So no matter where you are right now, things change fast. And if you're learning and understanding Bitcoin right now, well, you have such an opportunity in front of you. No matter how wrecked and red your portfolio is, not financial advice, but if it was me, I'd put a hell of a lot of work into understanding money, understanding Bitcoin, understanding the fiat system, and just try and build a bit of a conviction and understand how to invest. Okay, and don't make rash decisions, because if you buy high and sell low, you can't undo that. It's locked. You've locked in the mistake forever. Whereas if you buy high and the market punishes you for whatever amount of time, you haven't lost a penny. Okay, because you still own the asset. If you bought a house in 2008, in 2006, and you bought it at the very top of the market, and you paid top dollar for it, well, if you still own the house today, it's probably worth twice that. Although you had to go through a bear market where your house became worth 5 times less. But you still own the house. This is the beauty of it. This is investing. Markets go up over time because fiat monetary policy expands over time. It's not rocket science. It's just how it works. It's just physics. Anyway, have a super evening, guys. Thanks for hitting the like button, hit share button. Tag anyone who needs to hear this stuff. And anyone who's jumping into the Retire Early Club, if you're thinking about it, do it now, because we've got a live workshop this Saturday and I'm going to be taking people through all the basics. Please spend more than 2 hours researching Bitcoin and why it was created. Kevin O'Donnell, 100%. Kevin knows the crack, and he's done a hell of a lot more than 2 hours researching it. But start with 2, and then do another 2, and another 2, and another 2. And if I was you, I'd go Bitcoin only, all right? And then try build a thesis around why you shouldn't have Bitcoin. Guys, have a super day. Back in the camper van again, full circle. Exactly, Paul, yeah. That's the irony. This is the happiest I've ever been. Guys, have a super day. Less is more. Dinny out. Sure. Boom.